terms of the Scottish Labour Party, what would you do in the Monday morning?
Look, I'm not getting involved
All right,
in
you're
a
not
public
thinking about it. Okay,
conversation,
well, let's not
about what
waste time
happens
on
if
it
we
then.
lose.
Okay,
I'm trying to
Amanda's in
concentrate on winning
Glasgow.
the election.
Amanda's in Glasgow. Hi, Amanda.
Hi there.
Morning, Amanda.
Hi. I would like to know if Jim thinks it should be compulsory for MPs to vote when a bill is going through the House of Commons. For instance, during the bedroom tax, there was 47 Labour MPs didn't even bother to turn up to vote. So I'd like to know what he thinks on that. I'd also like to add that I have voted for Jim in all the years that his name has been on my ballot paper, but not this time. Today I sent my postal vote in and the cross was not next to his name.
Can you tell us why, Amanda?
I feel that somewhere he lost his moral compass. Perhaps he'd like to tell us where, when he lost it as well.
Maybe you should have a conversation with Amanda, Jim.
I think it's too late. Your postal ballot's gone in already,
It's gone.
Amanda.
My husband posted it this morning.
Well, if he hasn't posted it, by the time he comes back from work, maybe I can change your mind, Amanda. Look, the fact is that, in my approach to this, is that I don't think MPs can be compelled to always be at every single vote. Members of Parliament, of course, are in their constituencies. Quite often they have families they've got to juggle, so it isn't possible for them always to be there. For example, there was a vote in the bedroom tax last September in the House of Commons and no SNP MP turned up, and every Scottish Labour MP turned up, every single one of us, and not a single SNP MP turned up. And when it came to the introduction of the national minimum wage, when we first introduced it, again, not a single SNP MP turned up for that. So I don't think it's possible to pass a law to compel MPs to be at every vote. It's important that MPs try and get along and try and be in Parliament as much as possible. But I think we have to be in a world where when members of Parliament, for example, have a family illness or something like that, they have to be treated as human beings. I think that's a sensible way of doing it.
Do they have to give a reason for not turning up to a vote?
They have to tell their party whips. All of the MPs of all parties have to tell their party whips and give them a good reason as to why they're not there.
Right. Amanda, you say you feel that Jim's lost his moral compass. That's quite a strong accusation, really. On what basis do you say that?
Well, for me it's all about all the times that they've voted with Conservative. You know, they have become meshed with Conservatives. There's just not a fine line between Labour and the Conservatives anymore.
You're right, Amanda, you're right. There's not a fine line, there's a massive red line.
In Scotland, though, is that the intractable problem for you? Is that one of the main reasons that you find yourself where you are, that actually you have blurred the lines and people put you in the same bag?
Just answer Amanda's question, which is that, Amanda, you say there's no real big difference, but all the economic analysis says the difference between the Labour Party and the Tory Party in this election is the biggest it's been since at least 1992. I'm not going to rehearse all the arguments, but I mean, one of the things that, look at how many food banks. I mean, Amanda, our community's got a food bank for the first time in its history, and the growth of food banks over the past 5 years, from one Trussell Trust food bank to 50 now, and mums and dads having to feed their kids by charity. It's nice, it's lovely that so many people are inspired to give and support those folk who need that support, but it's sickening that so many people, proud people, have to rely on charity to feed their children. So there is a world of a difference between Labour and the Tories. Like in the last Parliament, the SNP voted with the Tory Party three times more regularly than it did with the Labour Party. And so this cuts both ways, Amanda.
But interesting is it, Jim, that Amanda, you don't see it. You don't see that clear blue water.
No, I don't. No. Years ago, yes, there was definitely a difference, but not anymore. Definitely not anymore.
I think, Amanda, there was one issue last year, which was the referendum, where, of course, Labour, the Liberal Democrats, the Conservatives and many of Scotland's trade unions, not all, but many of Scotland's trade unions were arguing, of course, for a no vote. So on that one day, on that one issue, we came to the same opinion, but for entirely different reasons. Ours was a sense of...
You voted for the 30 billion austerity cuts. I mean, that's... Why did you do that? Why did Labour do that?
No, Amanda, we didn't. I mean, we just didn't.
No, you're lying now. You did. Labour did. Labour voted for that.
Okay, Amanda, I don't mind. Of course I don't mind you not voting for me. Of course I don't. That's a democratic right, but I think it's pretty strong to say that I'm lying. Nicola Sturgeon made this same charge.
Okay, clear it up then. If you're saying that Amanda's got it wrong, clear it up.
Nicola Sturgeon
vote for 30 billion.
Of course we didn't. Amanda, of course we didn't. Nicola Sturgeon made that same charge in one of her TV debates. I showed her the document and said, where in this document does it say we voted for 30 billion of cuts? the number 30 didn't appear in the document, the word billion didn't appear in the
So what
document,
did?
and the word
Okay,
cuts
so
didn't.
what are you saying you have agreed to then?
Amanda, we've voted in the way that many families would
How
have to
many
do it.
billions then?
And the way that many families would have to do, Amanda, we voted to try and balance the books. So there's a different way of doing it, Amanda, because we just don't take the Tory view, which is that you have to keep cutting your way out of austerity. We're going to increase some people's taxes, Amanda. I don't know your circumstances, and I don't want to kind of inquire about your circumstances, but if you're one of the people in Scotland who's lucky enough to earn over £150,000, first of all, well done, but we are going to increase your taxes back up to a 50p tax rate. If you're one of the people who live in a very expensive home of over £2 million, we are going to introduce a mansion tax.
Okay, all right.
There's a better way of doing this, Amanda, which is increasing some people's taxes. The Tory party are against all of those increases. The SNP couldn't make the changes because they're UK-wide
All right,
changes.
okay. Well, Amanda, if you don't mind, we're going to move on. Thank you very much for your question.